Hello there, my name is Ethan. This is actually a bit of a video that I've been wanting to make for a while. I've just never really gotten around to doing it, and this is kind of revolved around, I guess, a bit of an issue that's currently going on in the stacking community. It's something that I've noticed a lot, and I'm sure a lot of other people have probably noticed this happening a lot to other people, but it's definitely something I really want to shed some light on and let people know about what's going on and, all this kind of stuff. So, the issue I really want to talk about today would be disproportionate times, especially stackers who are shaming other stackers for their own disproportionate records. So, first of all, what do I mean by disproportionate times? To understand disproportionate times, we need to first talk about proportionate times. So, proportionate times, or proportionate records to each other, are basically 333 and 363 times that you would associate with having a certain cycle record, let's say, and all three records kind of make sense to one another. Like, you would pretty much expect that for a person who has a certain time cycle or whatever. So I guess we'll take, for example, let's say you just got your first 5. And so your first 5 is going to be just below 6 seconds flat, 6.000. So if you get your first 5, and I will use 594 as an example, you'll be able to see it right here. But if I use 594 as an example, off the bat, what many people probably associate as proportionate times to that cycle record would be maybe a 215, 363, and maybe a very low 1.7, if not a 1.6 second 333. So those are really kind of like times that you would almost associate that would go together, and it would make sense that they would go together. I mean, you're kind of almost stacking each one at kind of the same pace. So, understanding the proportionate times, we can then move on to the disproportionate times and understanding what disproportionate times are. So, disproportionate times is where one out of the 3 events is either significantly faster or significantly slower than the others that you would expect for someone who has those records. So, I will put my records right next to this. At the time when I got my first 5 was 594, my 333 record was 179, and my 363 record was 225. What you would probably notice, and especially for many of the stackers who've been stacking for a long time, you can very easily point out the proportion pretty much off the back of your hand. I mean, it's really quite obvious that, like, the 333 record and 363 record are a lot slower than I'm sure what a lot of people would probably associate with having a 594 cycle. So you can pretty much tell that they're a lot slower than what you would expect from someone who has that kind of cycle record, and it can happen for either one of the 3 events. I mean, it really doesn't matter, but you would be able to tell that something is either a lot faster or slower than what you would expect from that. So the next part, I guess, would be talking about something I've definitely noticed a lot recently would be other stackers even shaming some other stackers for having their disproportionate times. And it's something I've definitely noticed a lot recently too, with people, saying, like, why is your 333 so slow when you have a 5.6 cycle, or why is your cycle so slow when you have like a 1.5333 or something like that? I mean, just kind of throwing examples out there too. And there's a lot of people out there who would say, why don't you try and improve your record for one of these events? Like, why don't you try and improve your 333, or why don't you try and improve your cycle? It's like it'll be significantly more balanced if you do that. But it's not that easy to do. Plus, in terms of another person's records, you're not going to be the one to change that. Only the actual stackers themselves can change their own records, and it also depends on if the stacker has their own desire to actually try and beat their records as well. I mean, it's almost kind of like, I've seen this an awful lot too, and it's something that I think will probably end up being addressed later on, but especially stackers telling other stackers just to straight up get faster times. Like, it doesn't work that way. Again, you don't have control of other people's records, so why are people trying to tell other people just to straight up get faster times? you probably have no idea how long it took them to get that record. And so it's like, why do you want them? It's like, I mean, they probably spent so much time improving on this one record, and they don't really want to. They kind of just, did everything like that. So why do they have to, um, you know, why do they have to get a faster time than what they already have right now? You know what I mean? But I do really kind of want to bring it back to the disproportionate times aspect of it. People are just significantly faster or slower with one event than the others, and it's something that you can't do anything about that. It's like, I mean, it's just, the way that they stack, probably the methods or even the style that they use, how difficult they think it is. But, I mean, I think it should just be completely normalized, never shaming a lot of other stackers for the disproportionate records. But and I kind of want to bring this back up to the point of, like what's the problem with having disproportionate times? I mean, it's like styles in a way. I mean, yeah, some styles might be inefficient, or they might be a lot faster. Like stackers might be quote unquote a lot faster with other styles, but especially like if you're used to stacking with your own style and you've been stacking with it for many years, it's going to be really difficult to change that. And for some people, it's just impossible to change it because they've used that one style for so long. Yeah, they might be faster with another one, but if you were if you were that same person and you've been stacking with that style for so long, you're going to find it really, really hard to change it. And for many people, they just don't change it at all, even if there are some So if everything's clean, then they're not doing anything wrong. I mean, yeah, they can improve some, but it's like they're not doing anything wrong with using that style if it's completely legal. And I think it's just one of those things too, where it's like you have to understand the perspectives of other stackers as well, and just understand that they've been using these styles for many, many years, and so it's like just like telling them that they would be a lot better with using a different style, or just straight up telling them to use a different style is just not very nice of other people to do. And for many of those other people who have been using these styles for so long, they're going to find it really hard to change it, and for many it's probably just completely impossible. And so I kind of think proportionate records are the same way. It's like I do think there are reasons why people are a lot faster with one event than the others. I mean, I kind of already mentioned why, but it would include things like styles, or just how difficult you think it is, or like let's say upstacking or downstacking one of them like really slowly or something compared to the others. But it's like, kind of think of it as the same way. You can tell people what they can do to make themselves faster, but again, it's almost like trying to tell them to change their own style. It really doesn't work that way, and for many people, I'm sure they probably don't know why it's faster or slower than the others. And as I mentioned before, it's completely up to the stacker's desire to get faster times if they really wanted to. And, telling stackers that they need to get faster times isn't going to work. It's probably just going to make it worse. But I think another thing that really needs to be accepted in the stacking community is that there's a very big diversity, and that also includes people's times too. Many people's records are very diverse. I mean, hardly anybody. I mean, what are the chances that two people have the exact same 333, 363, and cycle records together? I mean, it's exceptionally rare, and it's probably never ever happened before. But I do really think it's important for all of us to accept other people's records and understand that there's a big diversity. Everyone's records are very diverse, and I think it's just something a lot of us really need to understand in the stacking community, rather than shaming a lot of other people for their times being disproportionate to each other. I mean, that's really all I can say to that. So, I think that's going to be the end of the video. I really just wanted to bring this up and let people know about what's going on, and it's something that's really become much more noticeable to me recently. And I would definitely say recently. I mean, some of the other issues have been going on for many, many years prior, but I haven't really noticed this one as much until like just recently. And I just really wanted to shed some light on this topic, and I guess just kind of let people know and explain this entire thing to them. So, yeah. So hopefully that kind of explains everything, and I just kind of want people to, be accepting be more accepting of other people's records and just understand, I mean, people are slower than other people. It's like we shouldn't shame them for being slower. So, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in another video that I make, I guess. Alright.